And hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday, May 6th, and to the Prop Show. Let me make sure we got a decent sound check and we'll be rolling. All right, sounds good. So, welcome to everybody. And hey, man, tonight's show is called Delphi. Detective Greg Ferency, Never Broken. And I hope that you all uh, enjoy tonight's show. Maybe you learn a couple things and that you really and truly enjoy the live chat down below. And also, those on the replay, please participate in the comment section. I truly would appreciate it. So, we have a lot to get into tonight. And before we do that, I want to say hello to the chat, greet everyone who is here. And so I'll be doing that. But good to see everyone. I hope everyone had a nice weekend. Okay. So let's see. Let's see who's here. Got quite a ways back to go. All right, we have Sweet Dude Shibby was number one, okay? And Amy. Hey, Amy. Amy's reminding you all to hit those support pathways. Please do. These are essential for my functioning, to keep me moving and pushing ahead. So please do hit the support pathways. Thank you, Amy. And also hit the like. So Mino Dino's here. What's up, Mino Dino? Oleg Cat, Stephanie, Kit Kat, Don McKenzie, Carol, Heather Brown, 4 Pit Bulls Across America. Deb is here. Also, Carla Ann. Mandy Gilliand. Okay, good to see everybody. Okay, we got Siren Cindy here. Also Kay, Ninja, Warrior Assassin, Gene Jackson, Hurt In It, Cosmo's here. Hey Cosmo. Okay, we got Say what here? Rebecca Ann, 1965. Okay, who else is in here? Dirty Diana. Hey, Diana. Okay, we got Kaleida Hope in here. What's up, Kaleida Hope and Regina Grady Bolden? Okay. Also, who else is in here? Trying to filter through all this. Looks like we got Tracy Fleetwood coming in. Okay, Tracy. Also, Aaron M. Town. How you doing? Okay. David Rogers. Hello, sir. Digital is here. Hey, Digital. Nancy Drew 101. Good to see you. Okay. Dirty Diana. 26 dead zombies. Okay. We got Topher. Hello, Topher. Okay. Court of Public Opinion. Hello to you. Gretchen Allen. Hello to you. Okay. Getting everyone in here. Lisa's here. What's up, Lisa? Okay. What's up, True Tammy? Lowered Customs. Hello to you. Okay. Jenny Grohl. What's up to you? Artist formerly known. What's up to you? You were featured in a spotlight. Okay. Dennis McKean. What's up to you? Who else we got in here? No, I will not. Okay. BGPO says member for 1 month. Still enjoying your channel, Mr. Prof. Well, thank you. I'm so glad you're enjoying. Kate Yu, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so who else we got in here? Spicy Cappy, hello to you, Spicy Cappy. Cheers. Also, Christine, cheers. Okay. Uh huh. So, whoever else happens to be in the Lurker crew, come on and join the Prof's channel. It is the best chat. Okay, it is the best chat. I guarantee you. You'll learn that if you just join for a while and talk to your people. What's up, Tammy Martin? Hello to you. All right. So anyway, lurkers, join the chat. It's fine. We got a lot to look at tonight, so I'll be getting started soon. Um, anyway, yes, just a minute. Let's see. Okay. So let's see. It's hard to know where to start tonight because this is not a subject that I take lightly. Um, I want to ensure that I present it with utmost respect. And honestly, it's somewhat difficult to find a starting place in a story such as this one because this is not a story that you want to tell. And it's not an easy task. But with that being said, I will attempt a telling of this story. Um, and I'm going to do it in a somewhat different way than most people might approach it. I am not going to read any news articles for you or pull up any of the local TV station news coverage. Hey, all of you are fully capable of doing that on your own. And I encourage you to do so, especially after this program. You can type in Mr. Greg Ferency's name, and you can pull up any one of a number of articles to to read and to watch the reporting to fill you in on the reporting and that type of coverage of Mr. Greg Ferency's unfortunate murder. But we will be looking at some other things because I would like to fast track us on into the important part of the discussion. Okay, so therefore, I have chosen to, allow you to go out and seek the information on Mr. Greg Ferency uh, in the news articles and the coverage. And I will try to fast track us in onto the discussion that I would like to have tonight, the meat of the matter, so to speak. So, with that being said, I'll be getting into it now. And again, I appreciate you all for being here. Please do support the channel, hit the thumbs up, and all that stuff. And might be a good night for just listening, honestly. Um, a lot of this material I have not seen or heard elsewhere covered in this format. So this may be a first. And so, therefore, it might be worth a good listen. And I encourage you all to do so. And if you're enjoying the chat, continue to do that as well. So, with that being said, let's enter on into our presentation tonight. And I want to start off like this. Let me try to get my bearings. Okay. So this is Mr. Ferency, okay? And I'm going to begin by taking a look at Mr. Ferency's obituary. You see here from September 3rd, 1967 to July 7th, 2021. So the day we'll be focusing on today will be July 7th, 2021, and all that has happened subsequently. Um, and here it says, Greg Ferency, 53, of Terre Haute, passed away on Wednesday, July 7th, 2021, in Union Hospital. He was born September 3rd, 1967, in Terre Haute, to Michael Joseph Ferency and Dorothy Jean Sullivan Ferency. Survivors include his children, Nicholas Ferency and Peyton Ferency, father and mother, Mike and Dottie Ferency, sister, Shelley Klingerman, Kevin, mother of his children, Jennifer Ferency, great uncle Dell Ferency, and nieces and nephews, Griffin Klingerman, Harper Klingerman, and Quincy Klingerman. Greg was a detective for the Terre Haute Police Department and an FBI agent. He was editor of SWAT Digest, chief instructor for the International Tactical Officer Training Association, a senior tactical officer for the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, served on the Vigo County Drug Task Force, and was a consultant at Engel Ballistic Research. Greg was an avid reader who loved to travel and enjoyed the Colts and the Cubs. He was a friend to all whom he met. Just as an aside here, Greg also authored a book entitled Narcops, which is currently out of print, but covering the drug ops in Indiana. Funeral services will be held or were held at 11 a.m. Tuesday, July 13, 2021 in Holman Center. Burial was at Calvary Cemetery. Visitation is scheduled from 2 to 7 on Monday at Holman Center. Memorial contributions may be made to the Greg Ferency Memorial Fund at any First Financial Bank. Arrangements are under the direction of Callahan and Hughes Funeral Home, okay, 605 South 25th Street. Now, I'd like to begin with this from the U.S. versus Shane Meehan. This is a criminal complaint. I, the complainant on this case, state that the following is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. On or about the date of 7/7/2021, in the county of Vigo, in the Southern District of Indiana, the defendant violated U.S. Code 18, Section 1114, premeditated murder of a federal agent. This criminal complaint is based on these facts. See the attached affidavit. Affidavit in support of criminal complaint. Special Agent Matthew Cook does declare and state as follows. I am a special agent with the FBI and have been so employed since March of 2010. Previous to that, I was a practicing attorney in the Kansas City, Missouri area. I am a federal law enforcement officer within the meaning of Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure 41A and 41A2C. During the course of my career with the FBI, I have participated in numerous criminal investigations in the FBI Indianapolis Division. I have worked cases involving national security, counterintelligence crimes, gangs, narcotics, and violent criminal acts. In addition, I have conducted and participated in surveillance, the execution of search warrants, debriefings of informants, reviews of recorded conversations, analysis of phone records, and numerous other investigative activities throughout the course of my FBI career. The following information is based on my personal knowledge, training, and experience, as well as information provided to me by other law enforcement personnel. Because this affidavit is being submitted for the limited purpose of securing a criminal complaint and arrest warrant charging Shane Meehan with premeditated murder of a federal officer, it does not purport to set forth all my knowledge about the matter. Probable cause. The FBI maintains a resident agency in the city of Terre Haute within the Southern District of Indiana. The Terre Haute Police Department Detective Gregory J. Ferency has been employed as an FBI task force officer since 2010. On July 7th, 2021, Detective Ferency was on duty and working as an FBI task force officer, hereafter referred to as TFO, at the Terre Haute RA. In the afternoon hours of July 7th, 2021, Shane Meehan was driving a tan 2003 Ford F-150 pickup truck and repeatedly drove in the vicinity of the Terre Haute office. At approximately 2:03 p.m. on July 7th, 2021, Meehan pulled next to the gate at the secured entrance of the parking lot of the Terre Haute office. Meehan got out of his truck, moved in preparation around his vehicle, and lobbed an incendiary device, a Molotov cocktail, towards the Terre Haute building. Shortly after Meehan threw the incendiary device, Task Force Officer Ferency walked out of the Terre Haute building. Meehan, who was holding a firearm in his right hand, raised the firearm towards Task Force Officer Ferency and shot him. Although Task Force Officer Ferency returned fire, He later died as a result of the injuries he suffered when he was shot by Meehan. Shortly after Meehan shot Task Force Officer Ferency, FBI Special Agent Ryan Lindgren ran out of the Terre Haute building and engaged Meehan in a gun battle. Meehan was shot 2 times by either Task Force Officer Ferency or Special Agent Lindgren. Despite being shot, Meehan got into his truck and fled from the Terre Haute building. Law enforcement subsequently located Shane Meehan at Vigo County Regional Hospital in Terre Haute, Indiana, where Meehan underwent surgery for his gunshot wounds. Law enforcement applied for and received a federal search warrant authorized by the Honorable Doris L. Pryor, United States Magistrate Judge, for Meehan's Ford F-150. A search of Meehan's truck revealed a Smith & Wesson M&P 45 semi-automatic handgun. The Smith & Wesson M&P 45 was loaded with 1 round in the chamber. 2 additional rounds of .45 caliber ammunition were found in the front seat area of the Ford F-150. Also found inside the Ford F-150 were 3 Molotov cocktails, 2 empty boxes of .45 caliber Hornady critical duty ammunition, and an additional handgun magazine. Based on the foregoing, there is probable cause to believe that Meehan committed the above described violation of 18 U.S. Code 1114. I therefore respectfully request the court to issue a criminal complaint and arrest warrant for Meehan, charging him with violating 18 U.S. Code 1114. Okay. Now, let's see. I'm going to move on to something else. Let's see. Trying to get this together for you. Okay, I'm going to go here. All right. Federal charges filed against man in killing of Terre Haute police officer. Criminal charges were filed today, July 8th, 2021, against a Terre Haute man who was taken into custody yesterday for killing Terre Haute police detective and FBI task force officer Gregory Ferency outside the FBI resident agency office on July 7th, 2021. According to the court documents, which we just read, Shane Meehan, 44, drove his pickup truck to the gate of the FBI resident agency building. Meehan exited his truck and threw a Molotov cocktail toward the building. Detective Ferency walked out of the building shortly after Meehan threw the incendiary device and was confronted by Meehan, who was holding a firearm. Meehan raised the firearm and shot Detective Ferency. Detective Ferency was able to return fire to defend himself, but later died. Shortly thereafter, an FBI special agent ran out of the building and engaged Meehan in a gun battle. Despite being shot twice, Meehan got into his truck and fled the scene. Meehan was located at the Vigo County Regional Hospital where he was treated for his gunshot wounds. A firearm was recovered from Meehan's pickup truck along with 3 Molotov cocktails and additional ammunition. An attack on law enforcement is an attack on us all, said Acting U.S. Attorney Johnny Childress. As citizens of this country, we enjoy on a daily basis the security and protection provided by the men and women of law enforcement. That security and protection is all the more precious because it is at time paid for with the lives of those who have chosen to protect us. The selfless dedication exhibited by Detective Ferency throughout his career, and his tragic death yesterday is yet another example of why we all owe our respect and gratitude to the members of law enforcement. On behalf of the Department of Justice, I would like to extend my deepest sympathies to Detective Ferency's family and his many colleagues. I want to offer the deepest sympathy of the FBI to the family, friends, and colleagues of Detective Ferency. Greg was a valued member of our FBI family and had worked side by side with us as a task force officer since 2010 in our Terre Haute office, said FBI Indianapolis Special Agent in Charge Paul Keenan. We will work day and night to carefully examine the circumstances of the shooting. And we are dedicated to honoring Greg's memory through a meticulous investigation. Meehan is charged with the murder of a federal agent. If convicted, Meehan faces up to life in prison. A federal district court judge will determine any sentence after considering the U.S. sentencing guidelines and other statutory factors. The FBI is investigating the case. Okay, Assistant U.S. Attorneys Kate Oliver and Barry Glickman are prosecuting the case. Okay. Now, I'm going to do a little of this. I'm going to fast forward to January 19th of 2022. All right. It says U.S. v. Shane Meehan. The grand jury charges count 1, premeditated murder of a federal officer on or about July 7th, 2021. In the Southern District of Indiana, the defendant Shane M. Meehan, with malice, forethought, and acting willfully, deliberately, maliciously, and with premeditation, did unlawfully kill Gregory J. Ferency, task force officer for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, an officer and employee of the United States, while Gregory J. Ferency was engaged in and on the account of the performance of his official duties by shooting Gregory J. Ferency, causing him to die. All of which is in violation of Title 18 U.S. Code Sections 1114 and 1111. Count 2, attempted arson of federal property on or about July 7th, 2021. In the Southern District of Indiana, the defendant Shane M. Meehan attempted to maliciously damage and destroy by means of fire and an explosive a building, vehicle, and other personal real property in whole and in part owned and possessed by and leased to the United States, located at 21 Wabash Avenue, Terre Haute, Indiana. All of which is in violation of Title 18, U.S. Code Section 844 F1. Count 3, use, carry, discharge of a firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence causing death. On or about July 7th, 2021, in the Southern District of Indiana, the defendant Shane Meehan did use and carry a firearm, to wit, a Smith & Wesson M&P 45 caliber handgun, during and in relation to a crime of violence, for which the defendant may be prosecuted in a court of the United States. During this offense, Shane M. Meehan discharged the Smith & Wesson M&P 45 caliber handgun and caused the death of Gregory J. Ferency by murder as defined in Title 18 U.S. Code Section 1111. All of which is in violation of Title 18 U.S. Code Section 924J. All right. Notice of special findings. Shane M. Meehan. The allegations in this indictment are hereby realleged and incorporated herein by reference as if fully set forth. The grand jury further finds, pursuant to the provision of Title 18 U.S. Code, Sections 3591 and 3592, the following factors exist regarding defendant Shane M. Meehan's commission of the offenses set forth in counts 1 and 3 of the indictment, respectively. Statutory factors enumerated under Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 3591. Shane Meehan was 18 years of age or older at the time he committed the offenses in this indictment. He intentionally killed Gregory J. Ferency. He intentionally inflicted serious bodily injury that resulted in the death of Greg Ferency. He intentionally participated in an act contemplating that the life of Gregory J. Ferency would be taken, or intending that lethal force be used in connection with a person. Other than one of the participants in the offense, namely Gregory J. Ferency, and that Gregory J. Ferency died as a direct result of the act. Shane M. Meehan intentionally and specifically engaged in an act of violence, knowing that the act created a grave risk of death to a person, namely Gregory J. Ferency, such that participation in the act constituted a reckless disregard for human life, and that Gregory J. Ferency died as a direct result of that act. Statutory factors enumerated under Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 3592C. The death of Gregory J. Ferency occurred during Shane M. Meehan's attempted commission of an offense under Section 844F, destruction of government property by explosives. Shane M. Meehan committed the offenses against Gregory J. Ferency, a federal public servant who was a law enforcement officer engaged in the performance of his official duties. The allegations in this indictment are realleged as if fully set forth here for the purpose of alleging forfeiture pursuant to the Title 18 U.S. Code Sections 9 or Section 924 and Title 28 U.S. Code Section 2461C. If convicted of any of the offenses set forth in this indictment, Shane Meehan, the defendant, shall forfeit to the U.S. pursuant to Title 18 U.S. Code Section 924D and Title 28 U.S. Code Sections 2461C any firearm, ammunition, or magazine involved in or used in the offense of which he is convicted. The property subject to forfeiture includes, but is not necessarily limited to, the following: a Smith & Wesson M&P 45 caliber semi-automatic handgun, a firearm magazine found with the firearm, any ammunition recovered with the firearm, and any .45 caliber ammunition recovered from 1903 South 24th Street, Terre Haute, Indiana, on July 7th, 2021. Right. Where's my screen share? Let's see. Sorry about that. I'm going to get my screen. There we go. Is it not sharing? There we go. Okay, here we go. Federal grand jury indicts man for the murder of a Terre Haute police detective who served as an FBI task force officer Wednesday, 19th of January, 2022. A federal grand jury in Indianapolis returned an indictment today charging a Terre Haute man with the murder of a federal officer, attempted arson of federal property, and using a firearm during a crime of violence causing death. The charges against Shane Meehan, 45, stem from the July 7th, 2021 killing of Terre Haute police detective and FBI task force officer Gregory Ferency. Meehan was previously charged by a federal criminal complaint filed on July 8th, 2021. According to court documents, on July 7th, 2021, Meehan drove his pickup truck to the gate of the FBI resident agency building in Terre Haute. Meehan exited his truck and threw a Molotov cocktail toward the building. Shortly thereafter, Terre Haute police detective and FBI task force officer Gregory Ferency walked out of the FBI building and was confronted by Meehan, who was holding a firearm. Meehan shot task force officer Ferency, who died of his injuries. Every day, federal, state, and local law enforcement officers are entrusted to protect the public and uphold equal justice under law, all at the risk of their own lives. As such, the murder of a federal law enforcement officer in the line of duty is an attack against our entire community, said Zachary A. Myers, U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Indiana. Perpetrators of such crimes must be held accountable. Our thanks and admiration go out to those who selflessly responded to the assault at the Terre Haute FBI resident agency. The Department of Justice extends its heartfelt sympathies to Task Force Officer Ferency's family, friends, and colleagues for his tragic death. This indictment is another step forward in the bringing resolution to the ambush of Task Force Officer Greg Ferency, who was one of 73 law enforcement officers intentionally killed in the line of duty last year, and one of 3 of our own FBI family to lose their lives at the hands of others, said FBI Indianapolis Acting Special Agent in Charge, Gregory Nelson. We continue to mourn Greg's tragic loss and are reminded every day of the ultimate sacrifice he made while serving his community and country. We are committed to do a thorough and meticulous investigation to bring a resolution to this case and ensure accountability. The defendant was arrested on July 7th, 2021, and has been ordered detained in the custody of the United States Marshal pending trial. He will make his initial appearance on the indictment before a United States magistrate judge at a later date. The murder and firearms charges are capital eligible offenses, punishable by lifetime imprisonment or death. Should the Attorney General of the U.S. determine that the circumstances of the offenses are such that a sentence of death is justified, the law requires that notice be filed with the court at a reasonable time before trial. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is investigating the case. The Terre Haute Police Department and the Indiana State Police also provided valuable assistance. U.S. Attorney Myers thanked U.S. Assistant U.S. Attorneys William McCloskey, Lindsay Korwowski, and Catherine Oliver, who are prosecuting the case. All right. So let me see here. I want to do this. All right. I'd like to bring your attention to this Project Never Broken. All right, so what we're going to do quickly, I want to read some of this, and then I'm going to show you a little something, but let's take a read first. Greg's story. On July 7th, 2021, 30-year veteran, detective, and FBI task force officer Greg Ferency was ambushed and murdered as he exited a federal building in Terre Haute, Indiana. This was nothing but a senseless, evil act. After Greg's death, it became very apparent the work he did and the lives he touched were much bigger than anyone realized. He was a good person and a great cop. In an effort to make sense of and work through this horrific situation, Greg's family and friends committed to ensuring his legacy and spirit continue to have an impact. Greg was passionate about his work, especially making sure that his fellow officers were trained and educated to keep themselves and their community safe. He truly cared and dedicated himself to ensure others were taken care of, and he was a mentor for many. Greg was a natural leader. What many of us spend a lot of time, energy, and resources to learn how to be leaders, Greg possessed naturally. He was smart, kind, funny, authentic, and treated everyone with dignity and respect. Greg loved his family very much, but that didn't mean he gave up on his job. In fact, he continued to move up the ladder. In 2010, Greg was assigned to be a task force officer with the FBI. He worked out of the Terre Haute satellite office. While there, he was a member of various teams. He was on the terrorism task force at the time of his death. As his children began to grow up, he found joy in doing many things with them. He and his daughter Peyton shared many interests, including watching zombie TV shows and going on evening walks in nature. He and Peyton were extremely close, and his love for criminology seemed to rub off on her as well. Nick, Greg's son, enjoyed going shooting, and they frequently took trips to Dairy Queen. And there's some amazing photos. I'll leave those with you for a second. Maybe I'll do this. Let's see. It's his daughter. His son. All right. So I'd like to show you this really quickly. Now, this is going to be a little difficult. Let me get this started. Let's see. See what I got to do here. Let's see. Anyhow, I hope you all appreciated that. That is the projectneverbroken.org. If you're interested in going to explore that website, there are some informational pages there, as well as contact information, etc. For those of you interested, please check it out. Okay. Now, this is where things take a turn. Last year in April, things took a turn last year. To be expected. To be expected. And these are the things that make your blood boil. This is the motion of the United States for mental health examination of the defendant for determination of the existence of insanity at the time of the offense. The U.S., by undersigned counsel, respectfully asks that the court order that the defendant undergo a mental health examination to determine the existence of insanity at the time of the offense, pursuant to 18 U.S. Code 4242, Rule 12.2c. In support, the U.S. proffers on March 27th, 2024, the court entered an order granting the motion of the U.S. asking that the defendant be re-evaluated for competency. The court also directed that the defendant, by April 5th, 2024, file any notice of insanity defense. On April 5th, 2024, the defendant filed a motion pursuant to Rule 12.2a, providing the notice of the intent to pursue the defense listed herein, insanity. Rule 12.2c1b establishes that if the defendant provides notice under Rule 12.2a, the court must, upon the government's motion, order the defendant to be examined under 18 U.S. Code 4242. Because the defendant has filed a Rule 12.2 notice, the U.S. respectfully asks the court to enter an order directing that the defendant be evaluated for the existence of insanity at the time of the offense under 18 U.S. Code 4242, and that the evaluation take place during the time that the defendant is in the Federal Bureau of Prisons custody, pursuant to the court's order of March 27, 2024. Order. On April 5th, 2024, defendant Shane Meehan filed a notice of insanity defense under the Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 12.2a. The government has filed a motion under Rule 12.2c for an order that Mr. Meehan undergo a mental health examination under 18 U.S. Code 4242 regarding the existence of insanity at the time of the offense. The parties agree that Mr. Meehan's mental health examination should include evaluation of his sanity at the time of the offense. The government's motion is therefore granted. It is ordered that the defendant, during the time he is committed to the custody of the U.S. Attorney General or his designee at the Federal Medical Center for competency, reexamination pursuant to the court's March 27th, 2024 order, shall be examined by one or more qualified psychiatrists or psychologists to determine the existence of insanity at the time of the offense charged in the indictment. At the conclusion of the examination and evaluation of the defendant in accordance with this order, clinicians shall make and file with the court a report of findings with copies provided to defense counsel and to attorneys for the U.S. Any delay from examination of the defendant pursuant to this order shall be excluded from Speedy Trial Act's time computations. Okay, so ordered April 11th, 2024. All right. So what happened was that for some odd reason, Meehan was found incompetent to stand trial. Okay. I mean, when I'm telling you that you cannot make this up, it says November 26, 2024, a man accused of killing a Terre Haute police detective and FBI agent has been found mentally incompetent to stand trial. According to court documents, a judge overseeing Shane Meehan's case determined that Meehan is suffering from a mental disease that makes him, quote, mentally incompetent to the extent that he is unable to understand the nature and the consequences of the proceedings against him or to assist properly in his defense. Now, I don't have this document to show you, but it's interesting because basically there was given a period of time during which a reporting has to be made back to the court noting any progress in his competence to stand trial. Now keep in mind that this guy here, there's a backstory. Okay. There's a backstory to this guy that many of you know, some of you might not. It was absolutely unbelievable. Okay. Let's see if I can. Okay, I want to pull up this for you. None of this is easy to do, y'all, with all the technology, but I'm trying to get myself in order here. Let's see. Okay. Shane Meehan The man accused of fatally shooting the Terre Haute police detective Greg Ferency in 2021 is connected to the Terre Haute Federal Penitentiary. He worked there as a corrections officer from 2005 to 2017 before he retired. Okay? Meehan also ran as an independent candidate in the 2019 race for mayor of Terre Haute, Indiana. From a mayoral candidate to murderer of task force officer. Meehan ran for mayor in 2019 and worked 4 years at the federal prison complex in Terre Haute. And here we get to where it gets pretty ugly. This is the 2010 to 2015 State of Indiana statewide hazard threat identification and risk assessment by the Indiana Department of Homeland Security and Indiana Intelligence Fusion Center. Okay, so keep in mind, these are the years just prior to 2017. So I know we're jumping all over the place, but we're going to read a very, very, very important part of this. Some of you may not have heard some of what has been dug up here in 2015 by the Indiana Department of Homeland Security and the Fusion Center. So we're going to take a look into this document. It's very important for you and for us, especially discussing these crimes that we do. Okay. You can see at the top here, it's unclassified. It's just fine to share. All right. And you see here down at the bottom under 6B, 2A is where we're going to be forwarding to. Okay. You see? So we're going to fast forward here to the pages we need to be hitting, which is page 9. Domestic terrorism. Domestic extremism is the illegal activity by domestic groups or individuals perpetrated with the intent to change governmental policy and function, public opinion, or business practices. White supremacists. White supremacists are groups or individuals who believe Caucasians are superior to other races and use this viewpoint to justify violent actions. There are two main types of white supremacist groups in Indiana. Ku Klux Klan groups who have dominated the state until recent years, and skinhead groups who have emerged as the most dangerous groups in Indiana. Again, skinhead groups who have emerged as the most dangerous groups in Indiana. Despite having a statewide membership of more than 100,000 in the 20s, Ku Klux Klan membership has steadily declined since then. Current membership statewide is now estimated to be approximately 100 people scattered in small groups. Yeah, but I would probably triple that. Large, well-organized Klan groups in Indiana have either dissolved or shifted their focus to other areas of the country where they have more influence. Based in South Bend, the National Knights are the largest Klan organization in Indiana. The group has been connected to criminal activity both in Indiana and nationally. In 2021, the group's national leader was arrested in Indiana for threatening a reporter who had used his name in a news story for a local television station. Members of the group's recently defunct North Carolina chapter were arrested for plotting to kill a local sheriff, bomb a county courthouse, and unalive a fellow Klansman they believed was a federal informant in 2002. Since 2007, the National Knights have shifted most activities of the group to Alabama, where the group has a large membership. While other skinhead groups have periodically had a presence in Indiana, namely the National Socialist Movement and the American National Socialist Workers' Party, the state of Indiana is dominated by the Vinlanders Social Club. I'll give you a moment to process that. Remember, this is from the Department of Homeland Security Indiana Intelligence Fusion Center in 2015. Okay? 2015. Again, please read closely. The state of Indiana is dominated by the Vinlanders Social Club. Formed by disaffected and expelled members from the Hammerskin Nation, a neo-Nazi skinhead group, the Vinlanders Social Club is based in Indianapolis and has associates and members in many states from Arizona to New Jersey. The Vinlanders Social Club has gained a reputation inside the white supremacist community for being extremely violent. At a white power rock concert in 2006, members of the Vinlanders Social Club attacked members of another white supremacist group who they believe had insulted them. Also in 2008, 3 Vinlanders Social Club members were convicted in the 2007 beating of a homeless African American man in downtown Indianapolis. Ku Klux Klan groups in the state will likely continue to produce and use white supremacist rhetoric. And the Vinlanders Social Club may continue to engage in hate crimes against individuals. However, there's little indication that these groups and individuals will engage in violent actions or target the state of Indiana, its critical infrastructure, industries, venues, and events. Okay? Now, let's see. I have to take this one. We're doing a lot of cross-referencing here, so just give me a minute. I got to pull this one for you. Okay, where is it? Where is it? All right, let's see. Share screen. Let's see how this works. You can see here from WRTV. Okay. This is November 18th, 2016. Updated July 30th, 2018. So this is sandwiching our 2017. Okay. Anyway, like I said, originally written November 18, 2016. Updated July 30th, 2018. Okay, this is an update of a story first published in November 2016. So what we're going to do, we're going to go down to the pertinent part that I want to show you here. So you see, we got neo-Nazi. We're going to go down here to white nationalists. Okay. And I'm going to go down here to racist skinhead. And I want to bring your attention to this section here I'm highlighting here. I don't know if you can see this. I want to read it to you because it's very, very important. Sorry, I'm trying to highlight just this. Okay. Vinlanders, Indiana. Location, Knightstown, Indiana. The Southern Poverty Law Center says that the Vinlanders Social Club was formed in 2003 by members of a rogue, racist skinhead group. They follow a racist version of paganism that reveres the Norse god Odin. The group is headquartered in Indiana. Let's read that again for those in the back. The Vinlanders Social Club was formed in 2003 by members of a rogue racist skinhead group. They follow a racist version of paganism that reveres the Norse god Odin. Okay, question for all of you. Out of these 31 racist hate groups in Indiana, do you see any one of them other than the Vinlanders specifically following a racist version of paganism that reveres the Norse god Odin? Okay. It's difficult because we have to start to understand correctional officers and hate groups. Okay. All right, good. Let me talk for a second. So, bringing it back around to that Shane Meehan for years prior to all of this was a corrections officer in a federal prison in Terre Haute. The Vinlanders being, let's bring that up again because I think it's hard. It's hard. We have to go back to this once again. While other look at you, I'm in the middle of the page here, you. While other skinhead groups have periodically had a presence in Indiana, the state of Indiana is dominated by the Vinlanders Social Club. Okay? The Vinlanders has gained a reputation inside the white supremacist community for being extremely violent. Okay? Indiana is dominated by the Vinlanders, which is extremely violent. Okay? And then we bring it back to what I said from this Southern Poverty Law Center, right? Which is, I guess I'm doing everything twice here because I really want to get it across to you here. You see? Racist skinhead, Vinlanders, Indiana. They follow a racist version of paganism that reveres the Norse god Odin, headquartered in Indiana. Okay, get it? Does he get it? See that? Racist version of paganism that reveres a Norse god Odin, Vinlanders. This is 2016. Okay. And then I brought you this 2015. 2015, right? This statewide hazard threat identification risk assessment supported by the Homeland Security and Indiana Intelligence Fusion Center, which indicates here under you that while other skinhead groups have periodically had a presence, the state of Indiana is dominated by the Vinlanders. Okay? Now, with that being said, we have to talk about really important things now. That was all just for context. Now I want you to take all of that context that we just established. That was groundwork. That was a foundation. Okay? That we're building upon. And I want you, with that foundation, with that context, within that framework, bookended by that knowledge, let us take a renewed look at the Franks Memorandum, authored by Baldwin, largely derived from the work of our Greg Ferency. Okay? Now, here's another thing, and this is where it gets deep. Let me back it up. Notice his date of passing, 2021, right? July 2021. When you say, well, Prof, this wasn't written until 2023, September of 2023. Right. I'll give you that. But it gets a little deeper. Because what you really should be asking yourself is, hey, there's something here. Let's take a look. Okay. Again, this is the Franks memo. And remember, we have not seen a single exhibit from this Franks memorandum. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at this table of contents. And we're going to be jumping around a bit, so bear with me. But particularly, we want to look at page 53. Okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump immediately to that page 53. The 12-page Odin report. As part of discovery, the defense received a 12-page Word document that provided a summary of Trooper Kevin Murphy's investigation into the Odinist angle. Over time, the defense came to call this document the Odin Report. The Odin Report was created by Indiana State Trooper Kevin Murphy, who was independently curious. Okay? The fruits of this investigation boomeranged Murphy, Greg Ferency, and Todd Click into Odinism, or the Vinlanders. Murphy, Ferency, and Todd Click's dogged pursuit of the truth is what we citizens and those accused of crime should expect out of law enforcement. These honorable law enforcement officers were knocking on doors and conducting interviews, going wherever the evidence led them. Immediately following an interview, Murphy would reduce key aspects of that interview into a Word document. Over time, the quote unquote Odin report grew from a single page from his first interview with Mary Jacobs, Elvis Field's sister, to 12 pages, with the last pages used for summing up his thoughts from all the interviews conducted. The defense has attached this Odin report to the memorandum, marked as Exhibit 36. Surprisingly to Murphy, even though he was handing over to Unified Command powerful evidence that really painted a clear picture of who was involved, likely involved in the murders, Holman and Liggett did not seem interested. Eventually, Murphy said that Unified Command phased out the Odin Rush County angle, and that's from Murphy's deposition. He figured that this phasing out was due to Unified Command knowing things that he didn't know. That eliminated the Odinist Vinlander angle. Okay. So we need to go back because I want to start approximately here. Let's see. There we go. Trying to get there. Okay. Unified Command's failure to vigorously pursue the obvious links between the crime scene and Odinism or the Vinlanders is even more perplexing when the evidence known to law enforcement demonstrated a clear nexus between Brad Holder and four other suspects: Elvis Fields from Rushville, Patrick Westfall from Delphi, Johnny Messer from Rushville, and Rod Abrams from Rushville. Unified Command was aware that Elvis Fields confessed to his sister that he was involved in the murders of Abby and Libby, even providing his sister intimate details of the crime scene, of which only those present at the crime scene would be familiar with. Additionally, Elvis told his sister on February 14th, 2017, that he was present at the killings. That means the day after. Okay, so the day, I want you to really think about this. Elvis told his sister Mary on 14th February 2017 that he was present at the killings and that he had a brother and was part of a gang. Right? Now, Elvis also admitted to a different sister, Joyce, that he had in fact spit on one of the girls, and he told Joyce that he was on a trail on a bridge with two girls who were killed, and he was going away for a long time. Elvis's alibi for February 13, 2017 was also flawed. State troopers who weren't part of Unified Command determined that Elvis's roommate had concocted a story concerning Elvis's whereabouts on February 13. The roommate is Rod Abrams. Abrams told a story claiming on February 13th that he and Elvis and a man named Ned Smith were visiting a sick friend in Muncie. Okay? Unfortunately for Rod Abrams, this story conflicted with the story Elvis told law enforcement as to his whereabouts. And these shady alibis were relayed to Unified Command and will be explained later in the document. But Unified Command knew that on February 1st, 2018, Elvis's sister had passed a polygraph examination by Stephanie Thompson, oddly enough, when asked if she were telling the truth about what Elvis had confessed to her. Unified Command's obvious failure to vigorously pursue the links between the crime scene and Odinism is inexplicable when the evidence known to law enforcement included information about another Odinist Vinlander named Patrick Westfall. Okay? Now, we're going to go here to in 2019, Unified Command learned that in a conversation with his ex-wife, Brad Holder pointed the finger away from himself and directly at Patrick Westfall as being the person responsible for the murders of Abby and Libby, according to police reports. Holder told his ex wife Amber that Westfall and his people killed Abigail Williams and Liberty German because one of their mothers was mixing with other people outside of the race. Unified Command was also aware that Brad told Amber, I can only protect you so much if you keep asking questions. And also told his wife, Amber, that Patrick Westfall had many people backing him up and that Patrick Westfall had powerful friends. Unified Command's failure to pursue the obvious links between the crime scene and Odinism is even more disturbing when evidence known to law enforcement included information about another Odinist named Johnny Messer from Rushville. Johnny was a recruiter for the Vinlanders. Okay? He was also the connective tissue between the Delphi Odinist Vinlanders and the Rushville Odinist Vinlanders. Jerry Holman, in his August 10th, 2023 deposition, claimed that he did not even know who Johnny Messer was, nor what the evidence showed of Messer's possible role. Now, Johnny's ex-girlfriend, Taylor Hornady, told police that Johnny Messer and Patrick Westfall were like brothers. She also told police that she had allowed Johnny Messer to borrow her car on or around Valentine's Day, 2017, February 14th, and that Johnny drove her car up there to Delphi to hang with his Vinlander friends. Vinlander is a word interchangeable with those who practice Odinism. As State Trooper Roland Purdy stated in his deposition, all members of the Vinlanders are also Odinist. Let's say it again for those in the back. As State Trooper Roland Purdy stated in his deposition, all members of the Vinlanders are also Odinists. Does that check with what we just showed you? I feel like I got to do it again because I need to instill this in the listener. Again, Vinlanders. The SPLC says the Vinlanders was formed in 2003. They follow a racist version of paganism that reveres the Norse god Odin, headquartered in Indiana. Okay, does it sound like Trooper Purdy knows what he's talking about? Basically, the Vinlanders are a white supremacist, racist skinhead group consisting of Odinists. Brad Holder, Patrick Westfall, Johnny Messer were all affiliated with the Vinlanders group. Johnny Messer's ex-girlfriend, Taylor Hornady, also confirmed that all Vinlanders are also Odinist, and that Johnny Messer, Brad Holder, and Patrick Westfall were all members of Vinlanders. Interestingly enough, when Johnny Messer returned her vehicle, it had dried blood all over one side of it. Johnny refused to discuss the details of how the blood got there. His ex-girlfriend Taylor further stated that it took her several car washes to finally remove the blood. Meanwhile, Messer has claimed that he never, not once in his life, has been to Delphi, home of his brother Patrick Westfall, and near the home of his older brother Brad Holder. Messer's ex-girlfriend Taylor Hornady also told law enforcement that Brad Holder and Johnny Messer were two of the most violent people she knew and were fully capable of having been involved in the murders. She also states that a motive for their involvement in the murder of Abby and Libby might be the concept of blood in and blood out, which means social acceptance into their secret circles. All of this information was relayed to Tony Liggett and Unified Command, yet Unified Command provided no guidance as to what to do to capitalize on this information. Now, Odinist in Westville. The evidence shows that during his pretrial incarceration at Westville, Richard Allen had been monitored, intimidated, and mentally abused by correctional officers who were also members of the Odin cult. Two of those correctional officers are named Sergeant Robinson and Sergeant Jones. These Westville corrections officers boldly wore patches on their Department of Corrections uniforms proclaiming, "In Odin we trust," along with another patch displaying symbols of Odinism. Interlocking triangles. Say it again, y'all. Interlocking triangles. Both Odinist correctional officers also displayed images of runes, altars, and other Odin symbols on their Facebook pages. Sergeant Robinson openly displayed a photograph of his Odin altar on his Facebook page. A similar altar can be found on the page of Brad Holder. Okay? So we're going to skip this. And we're going to forward on. Well, let's go back to the index so I don't have to skip you around. We can look at, we're going to go on to page 119. I should have it memorized by now. After his arrest, Richard Allen was forced to be housed in Westville Correctional Facility. For those of you interested, I did a show recently entitled The Westville Report. Okay, let me link it here. I'll link it for you down in the chat, and maybe I'll put it in the description for a later time. Okay, so what I want to do is link it here for you so that you can go watch it later if you've missed it. Okay. That's a recent episode I did entitled The Westville Report. I highly recommend that you go take a look at it, but let's continue here. On April 3rd, 2023, two of the transport guards walking Richard to and from his visit prominently displayed multiple patches on their DOC uniforms. The top patch, "In Odin We Trust," was displayed under their embroidered name tags on the right side of their DOC uniform shirt. On the left side of their DOC uniform shirts were two patches. The lower of the two patches consisted of a partial American flag and interlocking triangles. The interlocking triangles is a common symbol for those involved in the pagan Odin religion. Above this American flag and interlocking triangle patch was a patch that proclaimed, "I hate people." Below are images of those patches. Okay. The first time that Richard's defense team noticed Sergeant Jones and Sergeant Robinson and the patches they wore in their uniforms was on April 3rd, 2023. This also coincides with the time frame that Richard Allen's mental health began a steep decline. From that point forward, those two guards, Sergeant Robinson and Sergeant Jones, seemed inseparable from Richard Allen. Odin correction officers Robinson and Jones would walk Richard Allen to and from his attorney visits, as well as on one occasion when Richard visited with his wife, always wearing these patches. For a period, Sergeant Robinson and Sergeant Jones were also videotaping Richard Allen and his interactions with his attorneys. This ended only upon complaint by Richard's attorneys after several visits. Sergeants Robinson and Jones were always close enough to Richard to be assured that he did not feel comfortable talking to his attorneys or wife without knowing that these Odinist guards were within earshot of anything he would tell his lawyers or wife. Max Baker and Matt Hoffman have both been part of Richard Allen's defense team since December of 2022 and have met with Richard on several occasions. Paragraph 10 of Max Baker's affidavit provides insight into some of what was going on at Westville with Odinist guards, Sergeant Jones and Sergeant Robinson. During one memorable visit on May 4th, 2023, this was at the height of his psychotic breakdown. Max Baker, Attorney Baldwin, and Attorney Rozzi met with Richard Allen to discuss matters involving the case. At this time, Richard Allen was in a mental and physical state of deterioration and was nearly non-communicative. During this visit, Richard Allen repeatedly asked whether or not his wife was okay and if his family was okay. He repeatedly asked whether or not his wife and his family was, quote, okay. He claimed on a couple of occasions that they were going to kill him. When asked who he was referring to as they, Richard responded by saying, the guys with the Odin patches. When asked who was going to kill him, he responded by saying, the guys with the Odin patches. Up to this point in the process, Richard's defense team had never mentioned Odinism, or Odinites to Richard Allen, either directly or indirectly. Okay, just a moment. Am I looking for something? Ooh, okay, let's see. Take me a second here. This is killing me because I want a shortcut to a certain page, so it's going to take me a second. Let's see. That must be difficult. All right, let's see. Searching for okay, here we go. I got it. Looks like we're looking for oh, damn it. I missed it again. Apologize. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so we're going to listen. This is page 125. I want to jump back for you to page 22, and we'll come back. It says here, a mentally defeated Richard Allen would continually mutter to his defense team at every type or every visit these types of questions. Is my wife alive? Is my family alive? Is my wife safe? Is my family safe? Okay. Once again, um, a mentally defeated Richard Allen would continually mutter to his defense team at every visit these types of questions. Is my wife alive? Is my family alive? Is my wife safe? Is my family safe? So let's take a little break. Let me ask you this. Why do you think he was asking those questions? Is my wife alive? Is my wife okay? Is my family alive? Is my family okay? Is my wife safe? Is my family safe? Why have we all missed that? Why would he not believe that his wife was alive, his family alive? At one such meeting with his attorneys, Richard Allen mumbled in a somewhat incoherent fashion that Odinists were threatening to kill him. It would be important to know that Richard Allen's defense team had never mentioned the word Odins or Odinism or Odinites, or informed him that there was evidence that Odinists married or murdered Abby and Libby. Okay? Again, is my wife alive? Is my family alive? Is my wife safe? Is my family safe? And then let's go back to this, right? Let's go back to this. Right here. Is my wife okay? Is my family okay? They were going to kill him. Who's they? The guys with the Odin patches. All right? Um, and you guys might remember what I've shown you before here. This is page 9 of one of the letters of Robert Baston regarding Richard Allen at Westville. The corrupt Westville Correctional Facility warden, John Gallipo, does not allow the Christian Amish church group called Christmas Behind Bars to pass out Christmas snacks to inmates because the warden, John Gallipo, is the leader here of a pagan white nationalist group called Odin. The corrupt faculty, or I'm sorry, staff and officers here at Westville and at other IDOC facilities wear Odin and Punisher patches on their uniforms. The corrupt staff and officers that wear the Punisher patches is a group of good old boys that assault, torture, abuse, and mistreat inmates. The corrupt Westville Correctional Facility warden, John Gallipo, is the leader here of a pagan white nationalist group called Odin. Did I lose my page? Oh, brother. Okay. We got to get it back. I'm trying to help you guys understand this very, very clearly by cross referencing. Okay. Let me do this. Let me do it this way. John Gallipo is a leader of a pagan white nationalist group called Odinists who wear the patches. Okay. What patches, Prof? Oh, you know, these. Right? Well, hold on. Let's go back here. Once more. There are hate groups operating in Indiana. As many as 31 hate groups operating in Indiana. Okay. Most identify as neo-Nazis or racist skinheads. Okay, so here's your neo-Nazis. White nationalists, skinheads, Vinlanders. They follow a racist version of paganism that reveres the Norse god Odin, headquartered in Indiana. Vinlanders. Odin, right? Right? And remember, while the other skinhead groups have periodically had a presence in Indiana, the state of Indiana is dominated by the Vinlanders. Okay? Is any of that coming together somewhat? All right, let's see if I can. Okay, let's see. 8 things to know. Members of a pagan Norse religion called Odinism, Vinlanders, hijacked by white nationalism, racist skinhead, ritually sacrifice Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Very early on, those in charge of the Delphi murder investigation claimed they consulted with a Purdue professor concerning what resembled possible Odinism signatures left behind at the crime scene. Remember, Robert Ives called them non-secular. After the Purdue professor proclaimed that it was not Odinism or any type of cult worshiping of any type of group that have conducted the crime, according to lying ass Jerry Holman, because we now know that was all a lie. However, the leaders of the Delphi investigation claim that they can't identify the professor. Remember, they tried that one? They provided no reports from the professor, and have further indicated they may never be able to figure out who the professor is, Jeffrey Turncoat. Okay. Thankfully, during those years, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, law enforcement officers Kevin Murphy, Greg Ferency, and Todd Click continued to pursue the truth because their curiosity and investigative efforts led to the evidence establishing the names of the likely murderers of this Odin cult of Vinlanders. Okay. And this all became known to the Delphi murders investigative leadership no later than February of 2018, a year after the murders, but due either to incompetence or more likely to a concerted intentionality, those in charge of the investigation refused to arrest or even properly investigate these obvious suspects. And they furthermore deleted 70 days of very important information, which would have included all of the information that would have led back to these suspects. On May 1st, 2023, the state of Indiana received a letter from Rushville Police Chief Todd Click, Assistant Police Chief, now retired, As stated in the paragraph, Click, Murphy, and Ferency were three of the law enforcement officers who worked on the Delphi murder case, particularly focused on the Vinlanders Odinist angle as it intersected with suspects in Rushville, Indiana, and Delphi, Indiana. After reading Richard Allen's probable cause affidavit, Todd Click became concerned, and he was actually astonished that the information contained in the Richard Allen affidavit was far less compelling than the totality of the information that Detective Ferency, again, task force officer for the FBI, Detective Murphy of the Indiana State Police, and Officer Todd Click had accumulated during the Rushville portion of their investigation. The information they had gathered during their investigation connected men who practiced Odinism and were Vinlanders in or near Delphi with another group of men who lived in Rushville, and then connected both groups in some ways to the murders. Click was concerned that for some reason the leadership of the investigative team had failed to share information with Prosecutor McClellan, the evidence that Click, Ferency, and Murphy had gathered. Click was so concerned that he sought a lawyer to assist him in drafting a letter to send to Nick McClellan. Obviously, par for the course, the letter was not provided to the defense until after it was obvious from the last rounds of depositions of the defense that they would be talking with Todd Click. McClellan had this letter in his possession for over 4 months before turning it over to the defense. Okay. Now, this letter was received in May 2023. Law enforcement also withheld several other exculpatory pieces of evidence, including an 85-page compilation of reports prepared by Todd Click in 2019. This 85-page report detailed the investigative work of Click, Ferency, and Murphy. According to the summary of Click's investigation, the Behavioral Analysis Unit of the FBI determined that the individuals responsible for the homicides were involved in Nordic beliefs. Oh, are you guys not listening? Is the world not listening to us here? According to the summary of Todd Click's investigation that he had attached to the letter to Nick McClellan, quote, the Behavioral Analysis Unit of the FBI determined that the individuals responsible for the homicides of Abby and Libby were involved in Nordic beliefs. Odinists, Vinlanders have Nordic beliefs. Remember? This was news to the defense, as no member of Unified Command had revealed this information to the defense. This includes Trooper Holman, who told the defense that he didn't remember if the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit had determined one way or the other that those with Nordic beliefs had been involved in the murders. At least up until the time of this Frank's memorandum being filed, the prosecutor had provided no evidence whatsoever of the finding of the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit concerning the involvement of Odinists, Vinlanders, those practicing Nordic pagan beliefs, etc. None. Paragraph 17 of Todd Click's affidavit states, upon directing this letter to Mr. McClellan, I heard nothing from the prosecutor's office or any other members of the Unified Command until I received phone calls August 23rd and 25th of 2023, which involved brief discussions regarding scheduling. During those phone calls, it was suggested that I meet with Jerry Holman during September 4th, or the week of September 4th, and that law enforcement officers wanted to sit down with me and discuss the reason why Richard Allen was responsible to put my mind at ease. However, during the meeting with Detective Holman and another detective, likely David Vito, um, there was no discussion or offering as to why they believe Richard Allen was guilty. I believe the interview was an attempt by them to clean up their loose ends, said Todd Click, knowing that they had given very little, if any, attention to the investigative efforts of Detective Ferency, Murphy, and Todd Click. And by the way, remember, they requested all the information from Todd Click. Jerry Holman, David Vito, Nick McClellan, they wanted it all. They wanted it all on civil plate. Give us everything you got. All right? Not only did Carroll County Sheriff Tony Liggett fail to include all of this, but he also concealed damaging witness statements that devastate Tony Liggett's timeline. Yes, he lied in his affidavits about witness statements and the statements of another key witness. Richard Allen has zero connections to any pagan cult or pagan cultist or Vinlanders or white supremacists or racist skinheads. Furthermore, no forensic evidence, no DNA, no electronics, nothing still to this day. Most of the evidence backing these assertions was found scattered over no less than 10 hard drives. Okay. Now, coincidentally, members of Odinism, the Vinlanders, are employed as correction officers for the Indiana Department of Corrections at Westville. It's inside of these cold concrete walls of the maximum security unit that Richard Allen was being threatened, intimidated, and mentally abused and compelled to confess. All right? So listen, why am I showing you all this? Okay? All of this is in the Frank's memorandum. I implore you, please go research the Frank's memorandum. Okay? Please. How far is Logansport from Delphi? Anyone out there? Anyone out there? Law enforcement's failure to actively pursue the obvious links between the crime scene and Odinism or the Vinlanders is confounding. It is even more confounding when the days and weeks after the murders, a particular Odinist Vinlander from Logansport, 10 minutes away from Delphi, Brad Holder posted on social media images mimicking the very runes found at the crime scene on the dead body of Abigail Williams. Okay. Anyhow, you'll see all of this. I implore you, go and look at this. Frank's memorandum. Sorry, I'm not pointing in the right direction. Frank's memorandum. Rick Snay says it's 10 minutes away. Shout out Rick Snay, my buddy. Rick Snay grew up in Logansport. He says it's 10 minutes away. I'll take his word for it. All right, let's see. Should I do a map? Should I do a Google map and check him? How fast are you driving, Rick? All right, let's check it. There we go. Let's check it. Let's check Rick Snay's accuracy. See how fast he has to drive on which back roads. All right. Directions. Okay. Holy moly, Rick. So he's got to be doing 100. All right, so we're done. We're done with this part of it, though. Yeah. Rick Snay, stop doing 100 on that highway, please. On that road. It's not a highway. Let's see, Rick, we got to talk, buddy. You're flying. Why am I struggling to just get the damn map up? Come on. Let me do it again. I just want to laugh. Anyhow, I implore you, go and take a look at this. And but I want to get back to two things. Okay, I want to refresh your memory about this. Look at that again. Now you know what the trolls are going to do. They're going to say, "Prof lied. Prof lied. Prof lied. Prof lied." I'm only quoting Rick Snake. Okay. Um, Look at this. All right. Now let me do what I got to do because this one ain't going to be too nice. Do you know what this is? What is this? What is this? Look at it. Come on. Put your thinking caps on. These are the patches worn by the guards. This is a Facebook post by Shane Meehan, murderer of Detective Greg Ferency. My next tattoo. They'll say, Shane Meehan wasn't an Odinist. He wasn't a Vinlander. This is from his Facebook page. Now, prison guard in the federal prison in Terre Haute, mayoral candidate, assassin of Mr. Greg Ferency. And I mentioned the timing. Again, look here, 2021. While other skinhead groups have periodically had a presence in Indiana, the state of Indiana is dominated by the Vinlander Social Club. So that wraps up my presentation for Mr. Greg Ferency, Never Broken. And I'd like to thank everyone who helped me with this, and a special shout out to the website there at neverbroken.org. Okay, for those of you who are interested. Um, and anyway, at this point, I think that I would like to take a look at the chat and see what some of you have to say. We'll make it a short one tonight because I don't want to belabor the point, but I think that I have conveyed all to you that I wanted to convey in regards to the context I was trying to establish for you and to get your mind open. Because as someone said regarding this entire incident, use a Google search. Okay. Use a Google search. Now, I find it interesting. Back to this. To put on our thinking caps. Mr. Meehan's mental health has been examined. And he has been found incompetent to stand trial for the cold-blooded murder and targeting of Detective Ferency. Now, how many of you know what Hornady critical duty is? I mean, I'm a shooter. Okay, I'm a shooter. How many of you even understand what Hornady critical duty is? Or is it called defense? It's critical defense? I thought it was called critical duty. Geez, let's take a look at it again. I don't want to get anything wrong for you because this is an important thing. Critical duty. See if I can show you a pic. I'll do it. I'll do it. Just a moment. Let's see. Because I think you all need to really understand something important. All right. Do you know what a critical duty Hornady round looks like and what it does? That right there. Right here is the reason that Mr. Ferency is no longer with us. Matter of fact, I'd like to do something even better. Let's see. Just a pause on this for a moment because I've seen what this does in ballistic gel. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know, y'all. Let me see what I can do for you. We don't need that. Let me see if I can get this together for you because I'm. Yeah, I'm not too happy with any of these. I think I'll be okay with this first one. I'll show you a segment of this. It's important. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. All right. Sorry about that. I'm trying my best to do something nice for you. Let's see. We're going to go with share. Okay. Are you seeing that? Oh, you see this? It's right here. All right. And that's all I got. That's all I got. It's hard to talk about. Okay, it's hard to talk about. The 45 ACP, Hornady critical duty. There could hardly be a more powerful handgun round. And so, as I mentioned, or as the document, remember the document mentioned that Mr. Meehan, let's see if I can get that too. Mr. Meehan, no, it was in this one. Okay. Smith and Wesson 45, loaded with one round in the chamber. Two additional rounds were found in the front seat. Two empty boxes and an extra magazine. So basically, the guy went there. What are you trying to say, Prof? I know it's hard. I'm not the best public speaker. Look, the guy went there to do damage with multiple Molotov cocktails. So if you look here, there's 3 in the truck plus the one he threw. So he went there with 4 Molotov cocktails, with 2 magazines fully loaded with Hornady 45 critical duty. Does it make sense what I'm saying to you? Like think about it again. The guy went there with 4 Molotov cocktails, 3 left in the truck, 2 full magazines of Hornady critical duty hollow point 45 caliber. This guy, which resembles these guys who are affiliated with these guys. Okay? So when I'm saying put some respect on his name, remembering that this date is after the Odin report and before the Franks memorandum. Now, whether you like me or not, I don't care. For this guy to now be declared mentally incompetent, is it starting to occur to you what's going on in the state of Indiana? You think I'm making it all up? You think that I say mean words on the internet, so I'm not worth listening to? How many of you can go out there and pull an assassination of a federal officer and get away with it? Anyhow, that's my tribute to Greg Ferency. Rest in peace. And how is this possible? Anyway, let me get into this chat because I'd like to spend some time with my people before we get out of here. Red flags. What's up, Miss Rebecca Ann? Thank you very much for that. What's up, Shantae, Ishta? Oh, let me shut this dog up. Okay. Thank you, Rebecca. Ignore the dog. He's either dreaming or he's aggravated with a neighbor. Yep, it was a hit. It was a hit. And now the hitman is going to be let off the hook. Yeah, it's not insanity. I mean, will insanity allow you to load enough magazines properly? and travel with 4 Molotov cocktails without spilling them and blowing your whole vehicle up. Is that insanity? All right, y'all. What's up, Jake? What's up, y'all? Thanks for everyone who's coming in the chat. Thank you very much, and thank you, Amy. I saw Amy hit a Amy gifted memberships to some of you. So God bless everyone that got a membership. I'm glad that you got a membership. Okay. So let's see who else is in here. Commentator Root, hello to you. Okay, nobody, nothing. Welcome to you. Miss K, welcome to you. Paula Fitzhenry, hello to you. And Goddess, hello to you. Thanks for coming in here. It's a hit, yes. I mean, they wanted to shut him up. I mean, obviously. Why do we have to argue this with people who don't utilize common sense and logic on the internet? It's okay. Yeah, maximum damage is what I was saying about the Hornady critical duty in a 45 ACP. Let's be real. Okay. All right. Who else is here? That's a good question, Jay. Are the feds not even listen? Are the feds not even investigating this on their own? One of their own? Thank you very much, Miss K. He was silenced forever. Yeah. Dead men don't talk. All right. All right. Let's see what else we got in here. We got thank you, LB. God bless you. And God bless you, Amy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Heather Brown. LB, we miss you. Thank you for being here, though. Let's see. What's up, Big JD? All right, we got 5 Green Acres. Likes hearing the dog. He's just probably sleep barking. It's always hard to understand what's up with him. He does his own thing. What's up, Dan Jones? All right. All right. Go watch my short, says Four Pits, and enjoy. Thanks for being here, Four Pits. Right. Dirty Diana, I want my blizzard, says Mino Dino. All due respect, but I've been on this train since the first time it came around. What's up, Big JD? All right. Thank you, Deb, for the super sticker. Thank you very much. Federal custody. I would assume he is. Thank you, Diana, for gifting memberships. It looks like 10 more people got memberships. Woo, from Heather Brown and Dirty Diana. Thank you very much. Yes, it's huge. This is what I'm getting at. Any of you have questions? Rewind and watch the past 2 hours. Like I said, I don't need you to like me. I don't need you to like me. I just need you to listen. All right, hit the like though. Yeah, you can at least hit the like. Thank you very much. What's up, Four Pits? Thanks for reminding. All right. Yeah, it's stressful to me. And look, the thing about Ferency also, do you did, who can remember his position in the way that he was working as a task force officer? Someone put it in the chat, so I don't want to tell you everything. See, the Joint Terrorism Task Force is comprised of dozens of highly trained, locally based, passionately committed investigators, analysts, linguists, hostage rescue experts, and other specialists from more than 30 law enforcement and intelligence agencies. It's a multi agency effort led by the FBI and designed to combine the resources of federal, state, and local law enforcement. The Joint Terrorism Task Force enables shared intelligence base across many agencies. Okay. Um, Again, with Mr. Ferency, he was remember with him. Let me show that again because that was very important, and I think people miss it. And I'm sorry, I'm ignoring the chat again. But remember this here because I think most people don't get this. In the middle paragraph here, Greg was a detective for the Terre Haute Police Department and an FBI agent, editor of SWAT Digest, chief instructor for the International Tactical Officer Training Association, senior tactical officer, senior tactical officer for the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, senior tactical officer for the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, also on the Vigo County Drug Task Force. And terrorism is what took him out. Thank you very much for Miss Rebecca Ann for the super sticker or super chat. Appreciate that. Congrats on the memberships. One day I'll figure out how to gift without a computer. I don't think it's possible. Thank you for the memberships, you ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's see who else we have. We have a whole new generation of Delphi people who don't know the story. Yeah, they all don't. They also don't know what's already been debunked in the past, and it's very crazy because I've been sitting here for 2 years, showing you what's real and what isn't, uh, vetting what I can, debunking what I can, and there are people here doing entire live streams about bad information and just spreading misinformation, disinformation. Congrats on all the new members. $10 hollow. Woot woot. All right. I fell down the white supremacist and biker hole a few months ago. It was very dark. Well, that's it. Welcome to Delphi. It's the white supremacist biker vortex. Thank you so much from DD. That's from DD. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, ladies, for the nice words and all this stuff. Thank you, Claremont, for the nice words. Yes, joint terrorism, joint terrorism task force. Once again, back to this threat identification risk assessment for the state of Indiana by the Department of Homeland Security. Okay. The Vinlanders Social Club dominates Indiana. Okay. Don't get it twisted. At least in 2015 when this was authored, 2010 to 2015. All right, so there is a statue. Good, thanks for mentioning that. I'm glad you mentioned it. There is a statue that's been put up in his memory. It's pretty nice looking too. Resembles him. All right. All right, you guys. Just checking out this chat. Yeah, where's Mark? He never misses a show. Well, remember he thought his power would be turned back on Tuesday. Maybe it's not on yet. Maybe his power's not on, Rebecca. But shout out to Mark. I'm sure about this. He will watch the replay regardless. Yeah, so he'll be back on the replay. Yeah, what's up with the FBI? That's what I'm saying. Seems very appropriate that they should step in. All right. They really need to do research before spreading disinformation and misinformation. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Mandy. Maybe the new FBI will. Maybe there's a RICO. Maybe so. Very good points, and I appreciate all of your open-mindedness. You guys are the most amazing. The most amazing. That's why you're around here. We're all on the same page, basically, and I appreciate that. We miss Mark. Everyone says hi, Mark. Doing the replay, but I wanted to say I've been waiting for this one. Thank you, Prof. Well, I wish there was more. Let me say this. I wish that there was so much more on Greg. I actually attempted to purchase his book. Do you guys want to know how much his book is on Amazon or anywhere you can find it? $600 because it's out of print. It's rare. It's now considered rare. So I was trying to purchase his book. And no, I'm not going to spend the $600. But I wanted to read his book and see what his work of passion was. Anyhow, I do appreciate that we were able to dig up what we were able to dig up. And with Meehan, all I got to say is I've never seen, you're literally looking at Meehan, you're looking at a literal human piece of garbage. Okay? Human piece of garbage, Shane Meehan. I hope he rots in hell. And I hope he does get a trial. And that his incompetency is dissolved and that he's able to face the charges and be found guilty. But it sure does appear to me, from an outsider perspective, it looks to me like he was allowed to murder Greg Ferency. And this incompetency is a part of the scheme. I mean, kind of like Mitch Westerman, who was allowed to sabotage Andy Baldwin, have all charges dropped during trial, and records expunged. Seems like this is how this works in Indiana, doesn't it? But hey, what do I know? I'm just a commentator. This is what I do. Anyway, I've said before, and I want to reiterate this because I think that this is where it gets lost. Okay. And remember, Greg Ferency and Stephanie Thompson died at approximately the same time. Okay. But I need to say this because I think this all got lost in the noise. You know, and obviously with Richard Allen and this whole court, Judge Gull was part of the same faction by not allowing this information into trial. Do you understand where I'm getting at? It's the same as finding Meehan incompetent or dropping the charges against Westerman. It's all a shell game, right? It's smoke and mirrors. But look at this. Remember, guys, when it comes to the Franks memorandum, here's my opinion on it. I think that Andy Baldwin made a huge mess, huge error, huge. What's the error, Prof? Well, Andy Baldwin repeatedly said Odinites, Odinist, Odinites, Odinist, Odinites, Odinist. I wonder if Andy Baldwin had said skinheads, Vinlanders, skinhead, Vinlanders, skinhead, Vinlanders, cartel, skinhead, Vinlanders. I wonder if he had gotten anywhere else, any further. So I guess what I'm saying to you, in my opinion, this Frank's memorandum still has value. 136 pages, still has value. And remember, there are probably 900 pages plus of exhibits attached to it. But what you have to do with this document, everywhere that it says Odinites, Odinist, Odinites, okay? Odinism, Odinites, Odinist. Everywhere that Baldwin says that, scratch it out and write in Bedlanders, skinheads. You understand? And I think had Andy Baldwin presented this accurately, we may be looking at a whole different situation at this point in time. And I'm not beating up on Andy Baldwin. I mean, he didn't know what the hell he was looking at. But I think at this point in time, for any of us, uh, this document right here could have had a whole other import had we simply accurately defined the terms. And that was a grave error on Andy Baldwin's part, in my opinion. Um, but anyway, I said what I had to say about that, and like I said, I think this says it all right here. My next tattoo. But hey, I'm only a former federal corrections officer, uh, nested in Indiana, uh, and also just happened to have been a contender for mayor of Terre Haute, and I go from that to this to Hornady critical duty. Anyhow, I guess we'll have a short show tonight because I'm pretty much done. I want to thank everybody who came, and you guys got great points. Skinheads, racists, Vinlanders would kill whites. Okay, they don't only kill blacks or brown people. Okay. Yeah, I see. It does drive them nuts. Okay. It's like, what is odinite? Is that a stone or something? Is it some kind of mineral? All right. Yeah, exactly. They're going to say it's my next tattoo. Sure. All right. All right. Thank you, Prof. Blessings to Ferency's loved ones. Yes, and like I said, Mr. Ferency, he leaves 2 very young adult children behind. Okay. College students, college age kids, twins. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. But like I said, we can talk about it. We can continue to not stop talking about it, share the information, um, show respect, and tell the truth because this right here, this is not for nothing. Okay. Anyway, we're nothing but a bunch of conspiracy theorists here. Remember, keep that in mind. Uh, Good night, everyone. Good night, everyone. Good night, everyone. All right. I'm pretty sure that I read that his son got up in front of the senior class and did a presentation on the whole. Say, oh, boy, that's a tearjerker. That's a tearjerker. I can't believe that, Big JD. Anyway, yeah, thank you, Rebecca. Good night, all. Good night, all. We love you. Also, good night and major respects to the family of Mr. Greg Ferency. May he rest in peace. Uh, we want to extend our most heartfelt condolences because we do, despite what many will say, we do love to the utmost degree and respect good cops. Where would we be without police? What kind of world? Who would want to live in a world without police? And so we do love and respect good cops. It's what everyone should aspire to. What every cop should aspire to is to be a good cop. Who would ever want to soil the badge? Because those of you who do, you're a disgrace to all cops. And they don't like you. They don't like you. You're an embarrassment and a disgrace to all the good cops. And there's more good than bad. So thank you very much, Icy Cat. God bless you. Thanks for coming. Also, Five Green Acres. Thank you very, very much. That's amazing, Big JD. I'd love to know more about it. I didn't know that. Thank you, Dan Jones. Mandy Gillian, thank you. All right. Heather Brown. What up, Heather Brown? Who's her daddy? 11. Thank you very much, Mama D. Yeah, corrupt cops. I hate bad cops. They're worse than anything. Like your worst nightmare is a bad cop, right? Good cops are your knights in shining armor. They're heroes. Okay, bad cops are devil incarnate. Okay, so they're human pieces of shit, just like Shane Meehan. All right, so you guys, appreciate you for being here. Also, Silenced, thank you for being here. Carla Ann, LB, Trial Junkie, Silent G, Nancy Drew, Four Pits, Christina's here, um, Five Green Acres, Spike Dog. Anyone I've missed, apologize for missing. Debbie's here, Rebecca Ann, Tracy Fleetwood. Yeah, special shout outs. Shout out to Rick Snay. Rick Snay, my buddy and yours. Rick Snay. Shout out to Rick wherever you are. Hope you might hear this and like the show, Rick. We'll see you soon, hopefully, too. I'm looking forward to Rick coming on and doing more shows. Mama D, what up, Mama D? All right, Sweet Dude Shibby. Jay. All right, Lisa. All right, all of you amazing people. Thank you so much in the chat. Uh, Hopefully, you appreciated the information and you got something out of it. And it will always be here for the replay. In case you missed something, you can go. And like I said, we didn't even look at any of the news coverage. So, your task, remember, I said that I have this thing called Westville, the Westville Report. So, you can go look at my show entitled The Westville Report, where I detail some of the egregious human rights violation at Westville. And also, you can go and Google Greg Ferenczy's murder, where you will find like the Fox News coverage, the WTHR, and all the other news coverage for this incident. You can find a lot of the news coverage and go consume it for yourselves. So I didn't have to show you that, but appreciate that. Okay, and we will gather again, maybe even tomorrow. I'm hoping for tomorrow. We'll see how this video does. Hopefully, we'll have some views on this. Thank you very much, Cinnamon Apple and Shantae. Appreciate those kind words, Shantae. All right. Anyway, yeah, y'all hit the like on the way out. Hit that super chat. Look, we got a Cash App, buy me a coffee. Okay, if you're concerned about your privacy, hit the Cash App. If you don't give a shit, you want to show support, hit the buy me a coffee. But we have our funding pathways, and also hit the like, hit the replay, watch some other stuff. Go subscribe to some of my chat members. I would appreciate that, because all of my chat who have YouTube channels are awesome YouTube channels. They're entertaining and interesting. So anyway, appreciate all of that. I'm going to get out of here. Luckily, good news for all of you. I am feeling better physically. Okay, physically, it was a week and a half, but I'm finally getting over my illness. And so now I'm just literally exhausted. So I got to recharge the batteries now. But boy, that was quite a week and a half. A week of no food, and just a few days now of food, and so I'm still rebuilding. So geez, at least I'm feeling better, and I'm on the upswing. So hopefully in the next few days I will be all recharged, and I won't be on these downer vibes like I know is probably coming across your screens right now. So God bless you all. Thank you, Diana, Silence, Heather Brown, all of you, Spike Dog. I'm going to get some rest too. It's early tonight. It's early. We're ending early. So yeah, I'll go get some extra rest tonight. And it is what it is. Anyway, God bless y'all. And anyone wants some of this stuff, hit me up. I'll send you the links, but you can find most of it yourselves. Anyway, God bless and good night. Hide your kids, hide your wife, unless you not in Delphi. Then love your kids, love your wives, and see you later, baby.